Hello guys, and just came here recording this video because I would recommend honestly to, if you are into Kubernetes or anything that is regarding Kubernetes, and if you're trying to study as well, and you're trying to study like me, just like me, trying out Kubernetes, you could try to use something called Skaffold, and it is pretty amazing. It's similar though to Docker Compose, where it connects several services. And if you don't know what Docker Compose is, it connects several Docker containers and combines them without any problems for the local development, and it's easy to run everything at the same time. So several services if you have. Similar to that, in Kubernetes we have something called Skaffold, and Skaffold basically connects all the pods or all the services that you have in your repository, in your local resource. So in order for you to do that, what you need to have is Skaffold, you need to have Skaffold installed, CLI tool. And another thing that you need, of course, you need to have the YAML configuration. For my case, I'm using the customize. If you don't know, customize is just a way of managing your YAML configuration, a better way of structuring your YAML configuration, or yeah, in a sense like that. So for example, we have a users pod, we have a rabbit pod, and we have a product pod, we have an order pod. So all of them are running in a container, and they have their own, like it will be an SJS microservice. So let's try to run Skaffold. Actually, let's start from the beginning. So let's remove this. And what you need to do is first install Skaffold, and I'll showcase the place where you need to have it, so the documentation. So what you need to do first, you mention Skaffold in it, and what it does, it's gonna read all the Docker files that you have in your whole project, and you're mapping that YAML configuration with the Docker file. For example, I have Gateway, which is the API Graphical Federation. For that particular case, this is Gateway. So Gateway service, it asks for me which Docker file we're going to use, and we are going to point it under the API directory. Under the API directory, we have something called Docker files. So that's the one that we are pointing towards to. So we'll point towards that. So let's say we'll scroll down, up and down, and what we'll choose is API Dockerfile staging, and it will be gateway.dockerfile. So press enter. Next thing would be image order service. So order service will be staging, and then image product service will point towards the staging Docker. RabbitMQ doesn't. So if some Docker files or some images are being used coming from the Docker Hub, you don't have to mention, and you could just say none, which is the image is not existent here. Another one would be user, so I need to point towards my staging user. And anything else, I don't think there's anything else needed, so I'll scroll down. And now I'll just press enter, and it will generate a Skaffold configuration as we have it before I deleted it. I'll just say press enter. Now if you don't have any special configuration, it should be okay. For my case, I think I need to change some stuff in my Docker file, so let me change a bit. What I need to do is my context will be instead, so let me change that, let me remove that, it will be the API. So instead of API get service, so the context will be my API, so the package.json will be read and run. Another thing what I need to do is the profiles. I need to mention that I'm going to use only the local development, so let me change this. And what I will mention, so I'll remove this as well, and we'll mention base, it will be overlays, and overlays will be local. So I'm pointing towards my local overlay. And another thing what we need to do is change the context. So what I'm going to do is I need to run it locally in my minikube, so I'll say cube context will be minikube. Other than that, I think we're good to go. So in order to run it, you mention scaffold dev. I have to change something. Reading on Microsoft Node doc file. Alright, oh yeah. So I need to change this instead, since I changed the API. So what I need to do is I'll mention the context was, so I need to say here Docker files, then staging, and that will be gateway. Now let me run it, scaffold dev, and voila, it's going to run all your YAML configuration that you have done in your Kubernetes, be it whatever you wanted. For my case, it will be a local environment, and it will run all the services. And you'll see all the logs here, amazingly. And if there's any problems, you'll restart again if there are some services depending on each other. Now another thing, so to test it out, in my ingress, I have it as gateway service or as local 3000. So I'll be using lens in order to check my service. I'll see if my gateway is running it. No, it's running now. Nice. Now it's done. I'll open it in my lens. Lens is another way of checking your pods or anything that is regarding Kubernetes. So I need to check the IP address of 3000 TCP. It will port forward towards my browser, and it will be this one. Now next will be, I'll mention /GraphQL, and it is running fine. My whole services are running locally. And then another amazing part would be, what you could do is whenever there is a change happening, for example, let's say in our scaffold we will change one of them, there's another folder directly called dev, and if I save this, it will change it and redeploy that particular Docker file. Another thing what you could do is you could map the file. So it's the way you are running locally and changing, whenever there's a file change happening locally, what you could do is map towards that particular folder, and that particular folder, whenever it changes, it will change that image and redeploy in your cluster, which is Minikube cluster. That will be it. It's amazing. So if you wanted to stop, say Control C, and it will clean up everything, and it will stop every single service that you have. And if you notice, it will stop at that time. Yeah, that's the best part. Skaffold. Honestly, I really recommend checking out Skaffold if you're running locally, or if you want to try it out and run it similar to Docker Compose. The documentation is called scaffold.dev, and I'll put it in the description below. You could check out the installation steps, what you need to do, how you're going to install it, somewhere around here. Yeah, installing Skaffold. So you could check out how you could install it, and as well they give us as well like different documentation of how you could run Skaffold. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Goodbye.